4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning. This is Wayne Cymbaluk from the Stearns County Soil Water Conservation District with your conservation report. Back in August, the Stearns County Soil Water Conservation District partnered with the Minnesota Well Owners Organization, the Minnesota Rural Water Association, trout companies, and the Minnesota Groundwater Association to provide a free private well nitrate and chloride testing event in Greenwald. First off, I want to thank the townships, local newspapers, and the GEMS Sanitary District for help spreading the word about the event. The event was a huge success. We had approximately 135 people participate with 160 water samples being tested. There were 5% of the samples that were over 10 parts per million for nitrate, in which anything over 10 is considered by the Minnesota Department of Health as not being safe to drink. 15% of the samples were between 3 and 10, which indicates there is some type of land use or human influence occurring to their well water, and 80% of the samples were less than 3, which is where you want your water sample to be. A test for chlorides was also conducted. Water softener salt, road salt, and salts associated with fertilizers are the main sources. 13% of the samples tested high, which is greater than 60 parts per million. 29% had between 20 and 60 parts per million. And about 58% had less than 20 parts per million. The closer to 0 parts per million is better, with 250 parts per million being the maximum for drinking water and still be safe to drink. We focus on these two tests because nitrates and chlorides are used to determine human impact on groundwater resources. Testing your well water is the only way to know if your well water is safe to drink. There are many things to test for in your drinking water, but here are the main ones. The first one you want to look at is bacteria. Total coliform bacteria, if present, is a good indicator that potentially other harmful bacteria and pathogens may be present in your drinking water. Pathogens in drinking water may pose special health risks for infants, young children, and people with severely compromised immune systems. Some of the symptoms include diarrhea, cramps, nausea, headaches, and in worst case scenario, death. Your well water should be tested annually, or if you noticed a sudden change in taste, color, or smell of your drinking water. Bacteria are naturally present in the environment, but fecal coliform and E. coli only come from human and animal fecal waste, such as from septic systems or feedlots. Safe drinking water does not have any pathogens in it. Another thing to test for is arsenic. Drinking water containing low levels of arsenic over a long period of time is associated with diabetes and increased risk of cancers of the bladder, lungs, liver, and other organs. Coming in contact with arsenic can also contribute to cardiovascular and respiratory disease, reduced intelligence in children, and skin problems such as lesions, discolorations, and the development of corns. Health impacts of arsenic may not occur right away and can develop after many years, even at low levels of exposure. Every private well should be tested for arsenic at least once during the life of the well. If arsenic was detected in the first sample for a newly constructed well, you may want to retest your well water about 6 months after construction. In 2008, a law was passed in Minnesota that every newly constructed well is required to be tested for this. Arsenic occurs naturally in the soils and rock and can dissolve into groundwater. Arsenic can be found in groundwater throughout Minnesota, but is more likely found in some aquifers than others. There are private wells scattered around Stearns County that have arsenic-related issues. The EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, standard for arsenic is 10 parts per billion. However, drinking water with arsenic at lower levels over many years can still increase your risk of cancers. And as a result, EPA has set a goal of having absolutely 0 arsenic in your drinking water. And the last one to test for is nitrates. Consuming too much nitrate can affect how blood carries oxygen and can cause serious problems in bottle-fed babies under 6 months old. Furthermore, a growing body of literature indicates potential associations between nitrate exposure and other health effects, such as increased heart rate, nausea, headaches, and abdominal cramps. Every well should be tested every 2 to 3 years if your level is below 7 parts per million, or annually if the level is 7 parts per million or greater. Also test when either A, there's a woman who may become pregnant that uses the well water, or an infant that is under the age of 1 and is in the household. Nitrate is found in many fertilizers used on yards, golf courses, and crops. Often wells within a half mile of fertilized fields or animal feedlots can be vulnerable to nitrate contamination. Well water drinking standard is 10 parts per million, so anything below that is good. In reality, most of the groundwater in Stearns County is safe to drink, but there are situations out there where there is some contamination, and the only way for you to know is to have your water tested on a regular basis. The arsenic, bacteria, and nitrate tests combined should cost less than $100. For more information on any of today or other topics, please check out our website at www.stearnscountyswcd.net or call us 320-251-7800 extension 3. Also, please like us on Facebook. Happy holidays, everyone. This has been Wayne Cymbaluk with your Conservation Report.